When we asked a group of middle schoolers what their biggest fears going into high school are, these were their answers.
Nervous mostly about grades and exams.
About friendships and the drama.
About playing sports with the older kids.
The amount of work.
Making friends.
About the testing when I get into high school.
I'm most nervous about meeting new people.
Getting stressed because of all the work.
When we asked a group of underclassmen about their first year of high school, this is what they said.
I did really bad on my math test, and I don't care.
I broke up with my boyfriend, and I don't know what to do.
I'm too cool for school. I don't even care about my schoolwork.
When we talked to the younger kids, we realized some of our experiences lined up with theirs, and this is what we have learned throughout our years at Wamogo.
This year, I challenged myself by taking physics. Math has never been my easiest subject, but when seeing what classes I needed to have to be accepted into any nursing program, I realized that I needed to take physics. When the class first started, I was unaware of how much math would be involved, and I was so overwhelmed. After my first quiz, I knew that this year was going to be a struggle. I was nervous about going to ask for help because, to be honest, I've never taken a class that I completely struggled with. I went to Mr. Parkinson feeling very upset about my grade and about myself. He reassured me that everything would be fine, and he worked with me one-on-one to help me fully understand. I ended up spending a lot of my WIP periods and third period study halls in his room and trying so hard to understand the material. I am so thankful for Mr. Parkinson and the lesson that he helped me to learn, which is when you are struggling, you can always ask for help, and I will use this in the future with my college classes.
Over the past few years, I realized that a big part of who I am is my community service. Ever since I was a little girl in Girl Scouts, when we went to the old folks' home to sing them Christmas carols, I've been involved in my community. Starting in 8th grade, I got really involved. I started participating in Relay for Life every June to raise money for cancer, the Penguin Plunge every February to raise money for Special Olympics, and things at school like peer leadership, student council, and Interact. The amount of things I got involved in over the next 5 years were endless. My participation in community service has helped me develop leadership qualities and has made me more responsible and introduced me to new friends. During the summer of my junior year, I traveled with my church to the Dominican Republic on a mission trip. This was an amazing experience. We built houses for people who barely had a roof over their head and played with their children. Being involved in the community has taught me to appreciate all that I have because it could be so much worse, and most importantly, I've made memories that I'll keep forever.
In the winter of my junior year, I was chosen as one of the field hockey captains. I was so excited about this, and I spent a lot of my time planning fundraisers, playing indoor with the team, and working in the concession stand. A lot of the role of being a field hockey captain exists outside of the season. I was so excited to be able to play with my senior season, and I couldn't wait to wear the captain's band on the field. Unfortunately, I tore my ACL on June 22nd, and after having surgery, I would not be suiting up to play. I was crushed. I didn't know what to do with myself. Field hockey was one of the most important things in my life, and I felt like it was ripped away before I could even grasp it. On the first day of preseason, I crushed my way up to the field and over to the bench to watch everyone else go play the sport that I loved. This felt like my personal hell, and I had a hard time dealing with it. After a few days, it got easier, and I helped the team in every way I could. At our last homecoming game, which would be my first of many lasts during my senior season, my name was still called out onto the field. The feeling of standing there under the lights but knowing I wouldn't be able to play was horrible. I felt accomplished because I was still giving everything I could for my team. Showing up to practice every day to watch my teammates play while I sat on the sidelines was very hard. But what I have learned from this experience is to follow through with your commitments. I could have also just gone home after school, but instead I struggled through adversity and had a lot of pride in myself for finishing out my senior year of field hockey, even if I never got out on the field to play.
It is said that the only mistake you can make is not asking for help, and throughout my high school career I learned this. Since day one, math has been a struggle for me. I've always just stumbled through it to get the grade and pass. Going into high school, I knew it wasn't going to be that easy. Freshman year, I passed with the help of the kid sitting next to me and the fact that my teacher was a great person, but not the best teacher. Sophomore year wasn't that easy. I started out the year strong, but my grades slowly started to drop. I struggled with the homework and the tests weren't much easier. After quarter one parent-teacher conferences, my parents came home and announced that I was going to get extra help every Tuesday after school for an hour. I was so upset that I cried in my room for an hour and didn't talk to them for the rest of the night. That was the last thing that I wanted to do. I was fine with stumbling through it as long as I was passing. The first Tuesday session was so awkward for me, I came out feeling like I knew nothing. After the first few sessions, I became so much more comfortable and confident in math class. The homework was easier, and I was able to pass the tests. Not only did this help my math grade, but the teacher and I became friends. I learned that even if you do not want to ask for help, it's beneficial and you should do it. It's not something to be ashamed of. This helps me become a better student and will certainly help me in college and in the rest of my life.
I don't think there is one specific event that stands out in which I learned this, but over the past 2 years, I have really learned to be myself, not care what others think, and to do what makes me happy. I used to care what everyone thought of me and just go with the crowd. Now, I don't really care what I do as long as it makes me happy. I don't waste my time hanging out with fake friends or trying to impress the people who don't actually care about me as a person. You're supposed to learn this lesson during high school and as you grow up and enter the real world. High school is supposed to be hard and full of these lessons. I've learned that your life is highly altered by the people you surround yourself with. I am thankful to have a wonderful role model and field hockey coach. Sam was like my older sister that I never had. I would call her to talk about anything and everything, and I appreciate how she was always there to deal with my issues that when I look back on now seem so irrelevant. I am so thankful to have had someone to go to when I felt like my life was falling apart. This helped me to make the right choices and to stay on the right path. This helped me become who I am today because I now know that if I'm going through something, I'll always have someone to go to that I can trust.
Overall, high school was a positive experience. I learned that people come and go, and that is okay. You will meet new people who will be just as good or even better than the last. I learned that the workload can be stressful, but as long as you don't procrastinate, then you will be able to work through it. Everyone handles stress differently, and if you are anything like me, then it will be hard at some points, but all you need is some chocolate and sleep. Most importantly, I learned that everything is what you make of it. I learned to stay positive through all the drama because it's not worth getting upset over. Years from now, it won't even matter. High school is about making memories and having fun. Looking back, I'll remember all the great teachers I had, friends I met, and memories I made, like meeting all of the new kids freshman year or running through the cow pastures during track. I learned to make the most out of any situation, and I think that is important.
Hi, Mom.